The urban Native American ministry that has already been going on within the city of Albuquerque and inspired and nurtured by the dean and the cathedral of our diocese is perhaps unparalleled in how quickly it is developing. In fact, the work of the urban Native American ministry is a work of reconciliation. It is a work of intercultural expressions, since it isn't just Navajoland, but other Native Americans who have come together. It is an urban ministry because these Native American young people are in universities in our city and cities, and they are people who are no longer on the reservation. The urban Native American ministry is part of building culturally integrated communities. And that work is one in which is very important because we live in New Mexico and far west Texas, where in fact in our midst are Native Americans. Addressing the needs of families and young people and adults is what this particular ministry will do and has done. Sharing the gospel message with those who are Christians and those who are Episcopalians, but those also who are seeking to know God and know both the liturgical, if you will, expression and worship of the Episcopal Church in parallel to traditions and rituals and rites of the Native Americans. You can hear in my voice that I am even more excited about this particular ministry in our diocese. And money has been placed in this particular ministry before I have come to the diocese, and I've encouraged that more resources be placed, both by us and by grants that we have been given by the Episcopal Church and other funding sources. That ministry of the Urban American Ministry you'll be hearing more about, and I am very grateful that this is taking place. It certainly is of God. Along with that, as you know, we have encouraged and nurtured a closer relationship with the Diocese of Navajoland. Bishop David Bailey and I have become great friends. I came to this diocese last August, not as the bishop, but as the bishop-elect, and went to his consecration specifically because I had already heard the story that years before there was a great relationship with Navajoland as a diocese and the Diocese of Rio Grande. Bishop Bailey and I have been talking about a covenantal relationship, a companion covenant relationship with Navajoland, and that would begin simply and with a covenant that we would pray for each other's ministries and mission. That we would have, if we could, cultural exchanges. We know that young people and young adults, both Native Americans and people of our own diocese, kids and youth of our own diocese, are very interested in each other. And we, on the first level, if you will be praying for each other, praying for the clergy, praying for the lay people in each of the dioceses. We will also be encouraging exchange, if you will, having clergy from the Diocese of Navajoland come to our conferences, and us, those who can go to their conferences. And you will hear about this covenant relationship. David Bailey will be addressing us at convention. We will be asking convention to endorse the beginning of this covenant relationship. And we will begin building new bridges of cross-cultural exchanges, education, spiritual narratives that we will share in our spiritual journeys, and the sacramental life of the Church in Eucharist and fellowship, which is played out, if you will, in our mission and ministry of Christian people, Native Americans, and all people in and part of the Episcopal Church in Rio Grande.